What's going on, guys? It's Music Mayhem back again. I'm Riley.
And I am Danny.
What's happening?
Cheers, everybody. How we doing? It's been a little while since we've been on here. For anybody who's new to the channel, this is what we do. We do music reaction videos for mainly our genre, which is rock, but we are not opposed to doing things that are outside of our genre. We have done hip-hop, we've done country, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
We are actually going to go ahead and get into a video now that was just released today by a band called Wage War. I know a lot of you guys have heard of it. This is a band that he and I have just recently started getting into within the last year or so, and have really started digging into it ever since. So, yeah. I mean, this is going to be, I've been impatiently waiting the release of a next song and the album as well, which will be out on August 30th.
Yeah, I'm interested because I know the first one that we really heard was Low.
Yep.
And that is, if I'm not mistaken, at least should be on this new album.
It was the first single off of this next album,
right?
Pressure.
So once we got into that, we started digging into some of their older stuff, and it was a lot harder than what we got from Low, maybe on a standpoint of overall song sound.
Sure. A lot less clean singing.
Right. It's a good screamer in this band, but I did like the balance like I usually like with most of my metalcore music. So I am interested to see if maybe they revert back to a harder full song, or if maybe they stay down that road of kind of tweaking things as they go. So I am interested to see how this sounds for sure.
Yeah, it should definitely be interesting. I mean, the one thing that I've liked about this band, because I've always been the kind of person that I like the screaming and clean singing to be kind of balanced as well, just like you do. But I have been known, I mean, I'm a massive Slipknot fan, so there's very little clean singing in any of that music. But nonetheless, this band has really gotten me with their breakdowns. Their style of music, I think, is awesome. They're really, really tight when it comes to staying in the pocket time-wise. And a lot of that has to do with them sitting in the studio and making it work, with the keyboard and shit like that. So who knows what's going to happen when we see them live in November.
Sure.
But, yeah, I'm stoked. I want to hear this, so I'm going to shut up. Yeah. And we're going to go ahead and get into it. We will be pausing intermittently throughout the song, so
give your thoughts, all that kind of stuff,
right? And to make sure that this video doesn't come down by the end.
Yeah.
With that said, Wage War, Who I Am.
Wage War, Who I Am. Roll one, scene one, take one. Mark. All right, let's roll playback.
That little metronome in the beginning.
Sounds somewhat close to Low.
Typical Wage War sound, bro. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I'm paused. Obviously, we're about to get into some clean singing.
So we're about to hit the chorus. One thing that I do like that is a little bit different from the majority of the stuff I've heard, at least from them. I know that you've listened to more of their catalog than I have. He sounds exactly the same, obviously, because that's just his voice. But I did like when he first started, and then he had that little bit right before this chorus that we're about to get into, where the pace changed. I'm so used to him and his songs kind of having that pace, and he kind of sticks to that pace the whole way the verse, and it doesn't really change much from him. The changes that you usually get is from him to the singer, not him changing his own paces, but still screaming in the same aspect. So I did like that little bit of a different intricacy on him.
Sure. And the beginning of the song is the typical Wage War sound that you're used to.
Yep.
Heavy sounds. Obviously, we're going to get a breakdown at some point because these guys are fucking masterful when it comes to breakdowns. So I'm digging this so far. I love how heavy this is. It's got a great vibe to it. Yeah, I'm gonna continue going.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I will say I'm not really a massive fan of that quick transition into the chorus. Once you get into a little bit of the chorus, it's not bad, but that
quick hit right into it, I'm not really a massive fan of.
I honestly, I'm neither here nor there on it. I don't mind it. I like the fact that they are able to go ahead and give you different sounds or different options as to what they're going to hear, because not every song sounds the same from these guys. Yeah, the beginning of this sounded like the beginning of Low, the beginning of Biggie, but other than that, this doesn't sound like any other song.
No,
I do like this so far. Honestly, the clean singing, it's okay.
Right,
it's okay.
Yeah, it's
a little stagnant. Besides the time that he goes to "You don't know who I am," but besides that, it's just very stagnant and very very monotone.
Right. There's not an up and down on his pitch.
There isn't. There isn't.
Yeah.
But you can almost tell that this is definitely supposed to be featuring the screamer in the song.
Sure.
And I'm very interested to see if everything that he does, because he's great, and everything we've heard studio wise, I'm interested to see if it could translate over the mic live.
Well, I do agree with that. I will be interested maybe to this back end of the song, because we still got a little less than a minute and a half left. And because you know that there's going to be, we're expecting a full breakdown here.
It's coming up here in a second,
so
you can tell.
If, when the clean singing happens again, because the first two verses were monotone, but maybe now you're getting that hit off of the breakdown, do you kind of ram your voice up more to kind of give it more hit at the back end or something like that?
Well, I'll tell you this. If that's what happens during this last chorus, then you know that it was intentional for him to do this earlier on, which I would appreciate.
Yeah,
I would certainly appreciate it. Unless if it's the same chorus, though, I'm not going to like this guy's part in this song. I'm really not. Well, I mean, it's not like I don't. It's not like I don't like it, but it's nothing to really love.
Right. You know? It's not standing out.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty quick jump right into the breakdown as opposed to a lead up into it.
Obviously, the song's not over because we still got about 9.
You got the outro.
It might be, something like that. But there was no change in his singing.
It actually, his voice sounded better on the back part. Not the full chorus, but when he was going back and forth with the "you don't know," and then the screamer was coming in, and they were going back and forth there. That was a better, I think, play off of one of another.
Well, sure.
As opposed to maybe trying to be too stereotypical metalcore, and having the hard, and then having the chorus where it's clean singing, then having the hard. Granted, that's usually what I like. I just don't know that it worked as well as I would have hoped it would have for this song in particular.
Sure. And the one thing that I've always told you is I love the way that this band writes their music. I love the way that they construct everything.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't. How you said it was a quick transition right into the breakdown. I don't mind that because everything seems to be very calculated. And even what you were just talking about, how the clean singing was kind of counteracting or like the counterbalance with the screaming. That's obviously there intentionally, and for them to actually be able to pull that off, it's awesome. I love the way that this band writes their music in general.
Right.
And none of the shit that they write is easy. None of it. This might be one of the easier songs that they have, but if you go into Witness or Indestructible, The River, those are hard songs, bro.
Oh yeah, of course they are.
Not hard from a sound standpoint. Obviously, it's hard from a sound standpoint. I'm talking about from a hard from a construction standpoint. That's not easy to do, man.
Yeah.
And whatever. Anyway, let's go ahead and finish this. You all right there, Haas?
Just had a motherfucking moth fly right onto my goddamn glasses.
Okay.
Apparently,
We'll
he
throw
wanted to join in as well.
All right.
Fucking ass.
Throw him into the flame.
Right?
Ba-doom-psh.
Yeah. And this will almost revert back into trying to sing how the rest of this album is pieced together. Well, they stick down this road of Low and that they've given us, where it's kind of back and forth. Whereas in Deadweight, even though you had,
Oh, come on.
even though they had a couple of songs that kind of fit that rhetoric, there was a lot of just overly hard songs for the most part. And then he would have the clean singer, that is, would have like minimal aspects that would just kind of give the screamer a breath.
Sure.
So it'll be interesting to see if they stay down this road or if they kind of revert back or maybe have a healthy balance of both sounds.
I would be
something like
perfectly
that.
fine with a healthy balance between both sounds because I love all their hard shit. I love that, even with Low and things like that, or even before that, when you started hearing him do his clean singing in Deadweight and in Witness and Indestructible and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this guy's clean singing. I'm just not a fan of his part in this song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is certainly, I think, his weaker performances.
I don't necessarily think it's weak. I just think it was it was neither
so
here
maybe
nor there.
weak was not the right word, but it was not like if you're going to listen to a song because he's in it, this would not be the song that I would.
No, of course not. Well, the fact is that when we started hearing Low, it was kind of like, okay, this dude can sing. He brought it with us. I mean, he brought it with him, and this one kind of leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah,
compared to what we heard from Low.
Sure,
and that was the most we had heard from him. And
I still like the sound of this song. I obviously liked the screamer's part much more, and I mean, I have grown to like the screamer, but typically the screamer is not the one that I typically go after as a feature person.
Yeah.
Like between this guy and Eric and I Prevail, those are kind of the two screamers that I go for, at least for the newer bands that we've started getting into.
Sure.
And this one definitely played into that hand for this one. Whereas usually I kind of go towards more of the clean singing because you kind of get that change of pace, and it's usually very good.
Yeah.
So this one was a little bit stale for me on that side, but I still liked the way the music sounded. I liked the way that the screamer sounded. I think it just fell a little bit flat on the clean singing. If the clean singing was maybe a little bit more heightened or there was changes on it, I think that overall it would have made the song much better, but it wasn't a bad song.
Oh, absolutely not. I thought the instrumentation was fantastic. I gotta learn all these fuckers' names. The screamer's amazing. He's great in everything he does, like we talked about earlier. But I like this song. It might be partial just to the fact that I like the band as much as I do. Okay, so my favorite song is The River. So it's really tough to judge. But, okay, I'm going to have to go about right here.
So
about 75% of the way up.
Okay. I would probably do about the same, and that would just be because I didn't get what I wanted out of the clean singer. Had the clean singer gave me it, I would have probably gave it all the way up just because I liked every other aspect of it. I thought the only thing that I would have liked maybe a little bit of a leeway into the chorus and even maybe the breakdown. The breakdown going straight into it didn't bother me. I just thought it was strange because you don't get that very often. That was very unique on their part of being like out of the chorus, bam, breakdown, and then that was it.
Sure. As opposed to a little bit of a drawn out.
Yeah, like you can, like you're feeling it coming.
Right. Well,
they just fucking gave it to you.
For sure. Well, and you could even tell that it was coming here, but it was kind of like, all right, I'll go grab a sandwich real quick. No, it was kind of like, okay, if you blinked, it was over.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But nonetheless, great song.
Yep.
Wage War, Who I Am. I am Danny.
I'm Riley. Thank you guys for watching.
We'll be back on closer to probably, I think the next thing that we've got going on was, concert-wise, yes, but I think the next thing that we have that we would be reacting to is probably going to end up being the new Of Mice and Men video that we keep seeing popping up with the little tape thing.
We'll find out. They certainly are keeping the carrot dangled on that one.
Well, no shit, and I keep staying on their ass about dropping the album.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it was a lot of fun.
We're out.
Music Mayhem. See you later.